She's mad, but she still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Whaley is furious.
She's upset. But 100%. 100%.
Oh, welcome in, everyone. Happy Friday the 13th, episode 65. Axe Kick Picks. And welcome in. My name is Del Rockford. I am your host, D-Rock. And joining me from the golf capital of the world, Joey D. Joey D, how you doing, kid?
Doing great. Yeah, it's sun shining finally. Had to beat a couple of days of inclement weather. But just as a heads up, I will be live and in person in Columbia, South Carolina come October 20th for Bare Knuckle. Let's go.
Let's go. Should be fun down there. Yeah, get that next week. Tickets on sale or no more tickets?
Ticketmaster, I had them personally available, but today's the last day, so I don't think y'all can get them. So check on Ticketmaster, BKFC 52.
Let's fucking go, Joe. But yeah, we got a great show for you guys today. We'll recap Bellator 300. Big night for Bobby Green. We'll recap his night. We got plays. UFC's back in the Octagon. UFC Vegas 81 this week, as well as some boxing card as well. Boxing Misfits, double main event, not main event and co-main. We got a double main event. Dylan Danis
co-main should be the main event.
Yeah, honestly, the way it's been built up, Dylan Danis taking on Logan Paul, and then Tommy Fury versus KSI. We got a lot of news to break down as well. It was a busy week in mixed martial arts as well, and then we'll end with 10 seconds left with Joe. But Joe, let's start in UFC last week. Bobby Green gets the knockout 33 seconds in. Holy shit, I did not expect that. I don't think anyone really expected that. Performance of the night, he gets the bonus. What were your thoughts on the main event?
Man, I mean, how could we deny King Bobby Green here? I mean, he's taking away Bobby. It's King Green, man. Honestly, it was shocking to see. I'll be honest with you. I really had high expectations for Grant Dawson, but we kind of should have seen this coming, especially after the performance of an earlier fight, which we'll get into with Ricky Glenn. But man, he drew with him. So the fact is, we should have kind of seen his, inability to stand up and stay on the feet, and his struggles there. Bobby Green exploited that, and I think it was the first exchange he hit him. I mean, Bobby Green, he didn't even know what punch it was that he threw. He threw what he thought was a jab, but it really was a straight, and man, he just dropped him and ended that fight quick. So impressive performance. Bobby King Green is here to stay. I'll be honest with you.
100%. Yeah, and I don't even think he wound up. It was a straight left, and then he followed it up. I think it was his first strike of the round. He was very loose in there, and those are the most dangerous type of fighters. So very impressive win for Bobby Green. Now, Grant Dawson, he was coming in with all this momentum. He was a minus 500 favorite. A little step back now. I think he needs to develop his striking because we all know what he's going to do is grapple with you. But when you go in and fight a guy like Bobby Green, and there are better strikers in that lightweight division, Dan Hooker, you got Jalen Turner, you got a lot of those good guys out there. He has to develop his striking better. Am I too far off?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He can stay on the ground with the best of them. I'll be honest with you. His jiu-jitsu, his wrestling is top tier, but like you said, he needs to develop his stand-up a little more. I don't know where necessarily he can get the help from if he needs to go to another camp, but he'll find something. I think Grant Dawson is a smart, intellectually sound fighter. I think he has good IQ. I just don't think he was ready for what Bobby Green had for him come that night. And you know what? He took it on the chin like a champ would. When he came out for his CBD advertisement, he goes, when I don't have Bobby Green around to help me sleep, I use these CBD gummies. So you know what? Credit to Grant Dawson for taking it on the chin.
Yeah, 100%. You don't see a lot of people do that. He did come out and say, he is with the best camp in the world in AT&T down there in Florida. So I don't know if he's looking to move, but he drops from number 10 in the world to number 15. Bobby Green goes in ranked now 13, which I think is kind of weird. He should be a top 10 since he knocked out the number 10. But that's neither here or there. But yeah, Bobby Green calling out Dan Hooker or maybe Jalen Turner next or Money Mercano. I mean, there's some interesting matches in that lightweight division. Spinning it forward, I guess both fighters. What do you see for Bobby Green, and what do you think? We need a layup now, right? For Grant Dawson, or do you give him another test?
No, I think you test Grant Dawson again, to be honest. I don't have on the top of my head, to be honest, nor do I have on top of my head who I would like Bobby Green to say. But if I were to be the UFC and matchmaker, if I'm the new Joe Reeves, who's now the new matchmaker for the UFC, I'm putting Bobby Green against another rising prospect to check them. Fraud check, King Bobby Green.
Let's fucking go. In the co-main event, another good fight. Joe Pyfer, second round submission, plus 600. Honestly, it was one of the biggest bets I had. Looked good too. I thought he was going to knock him out, and Ala Hassan, kind of a sore sport, didn't shake his hand. He did wind up apologizing, but Joe Pyfer, what a stud this kid is, and always takes advantage of the mic after the fight as well. So glad they brought back the flags. Flags are back, Joe. Love to see that. But second round submission, what'd you think of Joe Pyfer?
Joe Pyfer. That's it, man. I haven't seen an explosive double leg, a deep double since the Hawk, Andy Hernandez. Since that, he get in there deep, bro, on that double. This is how you expect wrestlers to wrestle. To be honest, man, Joe Pyfer, that's the blueprint right there. You want to be aggressive. You want to go in, not leave your neck exposed. I mean, he played that perfectly and capitalized on Al Hassan's weakness, which we haven't seen before. Normally, most of his fights wind up going to decision and or he's knocking people out. So the fact is, Joe Pyfer found a hole in his game, exploited it, and came out victorious. Still, I got to give you credit, man. D-Rock with the hit of the day. I got to be honest.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it was a big hit. Honestly, I didn't expect it the way it was going. I thought he was going to knock him out. But then when he got him up against the cage and he put his arm around the back, Joe, you and I wrestled growing up. What is the first thing they teach you? Do not reach over. It was bad. I was like, oh, this is his chance. And he sunk it in. And I thought he tapped, but then he just went to sleep. So overall, great win for Joe Pyfer, second round submission. You give him a ranked fighter now. He is the real deal. He did say with Dana White, they're working on a new contract. I mean, he's not ranked now, but you got to expect he's going to fight a ranked opponent very soon.
Absolutely does. He's a superstar. Jersey boy, Joe Pyfer. I mean, everything he is about. He leads by example. I just love the guy's character. He could be a face of this company. I'll be completely honest with you, with his story and with his ability. So Joe Pyfer, nothing but aces. And honestly, like their golden goose, man. UFC's building superstars here. Here's another one. Joe Pyfer.
100%. Yeah. If anyone is out there listening that, doesn't think that they could do it and they're in a tough situation, really look to Joe Pyfer because, man, this guy was literally sleeping in his car and now he's in the UFC. So, I mean, don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. And I think his message always after the fight, he's a superstar in the making. So good call there. Third fight of the main card, Joaquin Buckley gets the unanimous decision over Alex Moreno. We get the job done there. What'd you think of Joaquin Buckley? Impressive performance.
Featured bout, man. I like him at 170. I think he has a home at welterweight. I think Moreno was a tough test, and he won via unanimous decision. So I feel like he has the tools to stay very active and to be successful at the welterweight division. I want to see something, though, and I know it might not be favorable for him, but we have someone else who made a home at welterweight, and they fought at middleweight. Maybe run it back with Kevin Holland. I know Kevin Holland may be ahead a little bit, and I might be sprinting it ahead, but man, I want to see maybe Buckley has a better advantage at 170, a little more stout. Cut that Holland has to do might be a little more. I want to see that ran back if that's something the UFC would like to do. And then, of course, both fighters.
Yeah, 100%. Kevin Holland right now 13th in the welterweight division. So we'll see what he wants to do there, if he even wants to fight anymore. Because how many times has he retired and then unretired? He goes, I'm not in it for the belt. I just want to get paid. So we got to really know his motivations moving forward for Kevin Holland. But yeah, it should be very interesting moving it forward with Joaquin Buckley. Another fight. He's bounced back in a big style. Drew Dober gets the first round knockout against Ricky Glenn. Woo! What a performance by Drew Dober, man. Ricky Glenn, I thought, did some things okay early, but then when he felt Drew Dober's power, I was like, oh, yeah, it's over. So what'd you think of Drew Dober?
Yeah, I alluded to it when we first talked about the main event and that Ricky Glenn drew with who was in the main event, Grant Dawson. But, I thought that there was just a surprise with the way that Ricky Glenn, fights. There's always a chance, but we see why, he struggled with his last outing against Christos Giagos. He got knocked out in the first minute, and then he just couldn't handle the power of Drew Dober. He's an older fighter. I think maybe that came into factor a little bit. I think Drew Dober is actually a little older, which is surprisingly so, but Drew Dober is just super explosive. He has the most knockouts in lightweight history. So, I mean, he's a legend. I'll be honest with you. Drew Dober is a stud, man. And, man, he was throwing those strikes on him. I seemed like everything was landed. I think I looked back at the significant strikes, and he might have missed something like 5 punches in the significant strike category. So, impressive performance by Drew Dober.
100%.
Drew Doberman.
He bounced back, gets the performance of the night bonus, so good for him. He had a baby girl as well, so it was nice to see her in the crowd and see dad get his first win. First fight of the main card, Bill Algeo gets the unanimous decision over Alexander Hernandez. I mean, Bill Algeo, he is a dog. Like I said, if he got out of that first round, second and third round, he was just going to kill him with the cardio. And Bill Algeo, he definitely performed. What'd you think of his performance?
Yeah, his game, if he wanted to take the path of least resistance, it would have been to take him down or utilize some jiu-jitsu. But I think Bill Algeo wanted to test his striking against Alexander Hernandez, who a lot of people, credit to being a good striker. He got a couple fighters out of there, but he did get fraud checked by the Cowboy, baby, back in the day. So, yeah. Bill Algeo checked him right again here, and he tested his stand-up. He kept him on the outside, threw leg kicks. Jab was on. He was getting hit with all the jabs, man. I liked everything I saw about Bill Algeo there. He's always in it. I think he should be ranked if he's not already. And give him good fights. Give him some fights that he can make a name for himself if he hasn't already, to be honest. I do like Bill Algeo moving forward.
Yeah, Bill Algeo right now in the featherweight division is not ranked. Number 15th is Leon Murphy, who's a savage. I don't know if he's better than Leon Murphy.
One of the few undefeated fighters. That's an interesting fight. And if they were to put that together, I bet you they'd cater to LeRon Murphy and they'd go in England or something.
We got a featherweight main event here at the Apex with Sodiq Yusuff and Edson Barboza. He's sitting at 13th, and then you got Alex Caceres, who just fought with basically one arm, and he's at 14. So you got fucking killers in that featherweight division, Joe. So good call out there. Should be exciting to see. Other fights that I thought were really good. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, our girl, 4 in a row now. So Polish power, always got to support
her. Had a shot, 4 fights and a title.
4 fights in a time. No, you watch out for Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I'm telling you.
That's right.
And Nate, how do you pronounce his last name? Madness?
Yeah, Maness. I've heard Maness. I've heard Maness, and it's like I don't think they're right. I want to hear it from him. But impressive performance, man. Dude, honestly, I faded my boy, trained down here with us, and I faded him because I was let down last time, and I'm upset at myself that I did that. Nate, if you're hearing me, man, I apologize. I will be backing you next time.
Let's go. He gets the performance of the night bonus. First round knockout, 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So credit to Nate. He gets the big dub. And your girl, JJ Aldridge, unanimous decision. That's a couple in a row for her now.
Man, she's swift. Man, she's swift with the judges, bro. I don't. You gotta love JJ Aldridge. You know what? As a matter of fact, next time I see JJ Aldridge on the card, I'm betting on her.
You have to. I mean, she just keeps proving you wrong. But no, overall, I thought it was a really good card. I go 5-1. Only one I did not hit, obviously, was the main event. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming, but very good night. I also hit the parlay in Bellator that we'll get to in a second. But Joe, how did you do overall in the whole UFC last week?
I'm glad you had a good night. You carried the team here. I had an off one, so I scaled it back this week because last week I won 4-8.
4-8. Okay, no problem. Hey, no time to bounce back right here. Bellator, though. Woo! Very good card. We'll start in the undercard. My girl, Leah McCourt, gets the fucking TKO round 1, 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and then goes and has a stare down with Chris Cyborg. Who knows if that fight is even going to happen with the future of Bellator up in the air. Cyborg, she knocks out Kat Zingano. Kat Zingano did not even want to be in there at that point. Liz Carmouche, she winds up, that's another girl, McFarland. She didn't want to be there anymore either. Honestly, you know how we always hype up, UFC 300, UFC 200. Like, it was a good card, Bellator 300, but it wasn't anything to write home about. Usman Nurmagomedov, he just winds up. It was a domination of all 5 rounds. He 50-45, and all 3 judges scorecards. What'd you think of the main event? Basically, those 3 fights, and overall the Bellator 300.
Before I get into them, I just want to shout out Leah McCork, your girl. You had her. If you didn't remember, man, honestly, great take on her. She looked amazing, and she'll be getting the fight against Chris Cyborg, depending on if it's under Bellator or whomever. But, man, to go into the first fight of what were to be the 3 title fights, originally 4, lost Linton Vassell and Ryan Bader, now down to 3, then down to 2 since Ela McFarlane didn't make weight. And I'll be honest, I got to kind of check you on that. You said she gave up. I don't think so. I think she wanted to stay in there as much as possible. She was fighting till the end. Her body gave up on her. You can't take that many leg kicks on the leg, on the calf, on the nerve, and expect to continue and not check them, not address it, not try to take the fight to the ground. She didn't fight with the best IQ there, and that's why she got out of there. It was a 5th round TKO by Liz Carmouche. Impressive. And you said it right. Kat Zingano tends to fold a lot. As soon as she felt Chris's power, man, Cyborg is an absolute legend. If you want to say it, woo, the Ric Flair of women's mixed martial arts, to be completely honest with you. So shout out Chris Cyborg, absolute Hall of Famer in multiple promotions. She's like the only quadruple or what would it be that she won belts in every organization she could have, but she did that. And then, you know, it was a decision fight. And I know there was a round that might have been close. But Usman Nurmagomedov, he's the truth. I'll be honest. Dude's super talented. He is probably the best fighter. Besides, you could argue Johnny Eblen with the undefeated records for Bellator that Bellator has. I know they have other studs, but I'll be honest, that performance was impressive. And I think he was kind of, welcome to the world right there with that fight. Introduced.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm glad you gave Johnny Eblen his flowers, because Johnny Eblen, I think, is right there up there with the greats of even the UFC. So Chris Cyborg did have her face off with Leah McCourt. Don't know if that's really going to happen, to be honest. We'll see. It would make sense that is the fight to make. Now, do they do it in Dublin? Do they do it in Japan? Like, there's all these speculations now with Bellator probably going under where they're going to have this fight, if they even have this fight. Chris Cyborg has said she wants to fight. She doesn't matter where she goes. She'll go into enemy territory because she's the GOAT. She'll do whatever. I love I'm going to say San Diego, but the LA Charger theme uniform. Oh my God, it was sick.
It was fire.
Yeah,
oh my God, awesome.
I love that. So yeah,
I miss that in the UFC, man. I do. I miss that type of stuff in the UFC. Having your own sponsors and having your own banners, having your own shorts and your own trunks. I miss that.
I never got your thought. I mentioned it real quick, but what are your thoughts on UFC? You know, retracing its, I guess, their tracks and saying, oh, actually, we want the flags back now after they're the ones who banned it.
Honestly, an absolute crazy week in mixed martial arts. And we don't have to get into it there because I know you're going to probably talk about it when we get to the news portion. But yeah, I think they just kind of tripped over themselves there. Maybe they heard something from like higher brass or some legal, maybe Hunter Campbell saying, hey, we might have to limit the flags with all that's going on. But I think UFC, the Dana White, those guys, they were like, let's be real. We're a fight promotion. We should let these fighters represent where they're from.
Yeah, and I thought it dated even back to UFC Noches when people were coming out with the Mexican flag, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I hope, if it is true, I hope flags are back. And Dana White came out, I think, after the Contender Series and said, I was on vacation. I allowed it. All Joe Pyfer did was just ask if he could wear the flag, and I said, oh, yeah, of course. So, yeah, as long as it's no hate or harm to anyone, I don't mind whatever flag you want to bring out. So I'm all for the flag. So, fuck yeah. Speaking of Dana White Contender Series, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 new signings: Ramon Taveras, Andre Lima, Connor Matthews, Markel Madros, and Lucas Rocha, if I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, how did you do, not just this weekend and the last weekend, how did you do all season for Dana White Contender Series?
I did good. My record percentage-wise wasn't what I expected it to be, but we're in the green, man. And though I went 500 for the final week of Season 7 for Dana White's Contender Series, my overall record for the season was 26, 22, and 1. Remember that one draw that we had? Yep.
You got to love it. But, yeah, 7th, I think the Dana White Contender Series is much more, I guess, of a success than the Ultimate Fighter. Would you agree?
I'd be honest, It's doing really well. It's exciting for it to be on Tuesday night at a reasonable time. I think what hurts the Ultimate Fighter is that it's on at 10 o'clock at night, or is it 9 o'clock? Either way, that's actually an hour removed from 8 o'clock. 5 fights were done by 9 o'clock, I believe, with the Dana White Contender Series. We're waiting until 9, 10 o'clock for the beginning of the Ultimate Fighter. I think, though, Conor McGregor was on it, I just think that the season was just a little lackluster. Maybe the competition itself with the prospects versus the veterans, it didn't seem like a fair fight. So I think all that came into play. So I want to see who they choose as the next coaches and where they decide to go, because I think they're going international next season.
And I also think it's more, you judge me, because this is my first season watching it. And it seems like, to me, it's more like reality TV compared to the Dana White Contender Series, where you get a lot more signings and people plugged into the UFC immediately. Like, you only saw, 2 to 3 people get chances from the Ultimate Fighter. Yep. Yeah, there's a dime a dozen, and there are some studs that come out of the Ultimate Fighter. But I think the route you need to go if you are a fighter is the Contender Series. Am I far off?
No, you're absolutely correct. I would like to shout out my coach, because he had Francis Fire Marshall, our boy, Jersey boy, on the show, and he asked him, and we know Francis Fire Marshall came on through the Contender Series, and just like you said, Tough is a reality-based program. With the Dana White's Contender Series, Francis Fire Marshall explained it exactly. You get taped up, you go on your walk, they don't introduce you. They look at you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Fight. And you're in there and you fight. So I think it's good for the fighters. The only thing is that they hate fighting in the Apex, as we heard plenty of times before.
Yes. Yes. And you do see them start to get a little more crowd. Like, I know Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders. Some of the guys, like high-level athletes, will get like VIP access to go watch them. So it's not as packed as it used to be, but I agree. I think getting up to fight without Bruce Buffer and without the crowd, without your family, is kind of tough sometimes. So yeah, I do agree there. But other things we needed to cover over the weekend, Joe, did I miss anything?
We did cover one. I was able to cover one last week, and I thought it was an interesting card. Called it on the main event, man. Hit the big underdog Tan Lee on the money line. He was like 2 plus 215. Verdict had it right. We had it right, but the books had it wrong, and we got him. So to be honest, my overall record for one last week was 6-1. But as long with Bellator's 3-leg parlay that I failed to mention, I hit, which was at minus 131. I did hit China's 2-leg pick'em parlay at plus 255 during one. So
let's go.
It was a good weekend. I'll be honest. My overall record was 17-14, and I went 2-1 on parlay. So in the green, not the best percentage wise, but I'm happy.
Yeah. Hey, one, Bellator and Dana White Contender Series all lifted you up from a kind of a down week in the UFC, but no worries. Let's get on to UFC 281. Before we do that, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition, with only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys or an elderberry on a Saturday watching UFC Vegas 81, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Joe, by the way, as everyone's probably listening now, we are going a little early, so weigh-ins are going on. I think as of right now, everyone did make weight. I know there is one catch weight bout. Don't know if I have it on the screen for me, but yeah, another sneaky good card at the Apex, I think, Joe. Prelims, early start time at 4 p.m. here on the East Coast. Main card starts at 7, but Joe, we got a lot of picks to get into. Why don't you take us away, kid?
I know we're in the middle of the episode, but as you mentioned, a 1 p.m. start time this week will also be a 1 p.m. start time next week. Just an FYI, but let's get started. The first fight of UFC Vegas 81. We got the return of another Jersey girl, Ashley Yoder, and she's taking on Emily Ducote. I'll be honest, the odds I have here for Yoder are plus 300. She's a massive dog with a favorite minus 400 for Ducote. And I'm staying away from this fight, but if I were to break it down, I would like to think that this fight goes to decision, but I'll be honest, last night I saw, it looked to be favored to finish. Let me see this to be exact. Fight goes the distance is way favored. It's actually minus 300 as well as that. So that's why I'm staying away from it. To look at this, Yoder is susceptible to getting finished. Emily Ducote wins a lot by decisions. It makes me think that'll go decision, and it's favored, but I'm staying away from it entirely. I just had to go on that.
Yeah.
Chris Gutierrez takes on Alatengeli. This is a makeup fight from last week. I think they were supposed to, but I forgot if there was a misweight or if there was an illness. Do you recall?
No, I don't, to be honest. I didn't even know it was supposed to be last week.
But with this much of a separation, once again, in the second fight of the night, I don't want to get involved. Like I said, I'm scaling it back. So I don't have a play on this. I would lean the favorite, Chris Gutierrez, as minus 300, as Alatengeli is a plus 250. But hey, man, we saw last week, China was hitting. So, I mean, Alatengeli, he could continue that trend this week. I would be, mindful of that play. So let's go into the next fight. I got Irina Alekseeva taking on Melissa Dixon. And I'll be honest, I'm staying away because I really haven't heard of Melissa Dixon, and she's a minus 140 favorite. Irina Alekseeva, I was leaning towards her, but then I looked at the odds and she was a dog. If these first three fights, I wanted to stay away. I really did. I didn't want to even take the over-under. I didn't want to lean one way. So I'm just staying completely clear of them. But D, I'm going to get into the next fight here, and I'm going to let you take it away. The next fight that I have is T-Rex. Terrence McKinney at a minus 600 taking on Brendan Moreau. Who you got?
Yeah, I'll be short on this one, Joe. McKinney, he will be in our parlay, but unless you could find a round one KO TKO, which I haven't, I don't think you could bet him straight up. Like you said, he's over a minus 500 favorite. Even for him to get the win in the first round is extremely high odds. So yeah, he's definitely going to win, maybe probably in round one, but that's extremely juiced. Stay tuned. He is the first leg of my 3-leg parlay.
I might be shooting myself in the foot here, but based on principle, your boy's taking the dog. Brendan Moreau, plus 435. I have to do it. I swear, if T-Rex is my fear, not getting him out of the first round, he throws it all out there, man. If he gets tagged a bit, I think he starts getting in his head a little bit. It could be worrisome for me. That's why I think it's boom or bust with T-Rex. I hate to say, because I love the dude. I think he's super talented. And like I keep saying, he dapped us up on the streets of Newark. So shout out T-Rex. I hate to be doing this. I'm fading you, my boy. Prove me wrong. I'll be honest. But Brendan Moreau, you got my vote here. Plus 435. Big dog to start. First play for me.
Let's go.
Hey, different sides. May the best man win. Let's go into the next fight here. And we both saw the Thai Panther live in Charlotte. That is Tanera Lisboa. She was impressive taking on Jessica Rose Clark. She's a big favorite. Minus 300 around. A little heavier sometimes. But you got to look at this other girl she's fighting. And yes, she hasn't been in the UFC. But Ravina Oliveira, I think, is a live dog in this spot, to be completely honest here. She's around a plus 250 underdog. The way I'm seeing this fight play out is it's going to end in the later rounds. I like the over as a lean, but my official play is this. Now, Dylan, you can go on because I know you like your rounds to start plays, and they hit a lot. But my official play for this fight is the fight to end in round 3, either fighter. I have a lot of finishes from Tanera Lisboa via submission and knockout in the third round. Same thing for Ravina Oliveira. They get finishes in the third round, whether it's on the ground or on the feet. And I'm expecting that to happen here. I think both are tough enough to make it to that round. And, man, at plus 600 odds, fight to end that third round, don't have to pick a side. I think it's a rather safe bet and a hefty one at that.
Yeah, like a fight to just even start round 3 is at minus 126. So, like you said, it is expected to get there.
It's expected to get there. I think they're seeing maybe a decision in it, but these two are super talented with their finishes. Look at their records, a lot of finishes. So I'll go into the next fight. Oh, I'll be honest, man. You know how I am. I think I have kind of a 3-0. I mean, I probably have a longer record, but I just can't remember. But for the past 3 weeks, I think I've predicted the fight of the night. If correct me if I'm wrong, because this fight, Damage, Darren Elkins taking on TJ Brown, is going to be fight of the night, in my opinion. This was going to happen. This is the first fight that I've had in quite a while where I'm hedging. I want to take TJ Brown, Hollywood Brown. I think he, Downtown Brown. I think he's the better fighter. I just don't know how much of a dog he has in him compared to Darren Elkins. We all know Darren Elkins, man, when he's down and out, that's when you got to worry about him the most. So like I said, if I haven't talked about units all season, but I will in this one because I'm hedging for the first time. If you were to take this hedge, I would put a half a unit on Brown since he's a minus 180 to minus 150 favorite, depending on what book, and hedge it with Elkins winning in the third round or via decision at plus 300 and put half the unit you would put on TJ Brown. I think you can't go wrong. There's no way Darren Elkins is going to finish him in the first or second round. I think TJ's too tough. Same could be said the other way around. But, man, we know Darren Elkins, turns up in the later rounds when that gas tank starts to fade in his opponent and he starts getting better. That's what I like to see. And like I said, the hedge is the first one I think I've had this year. Once again, Elkins winning in the round 3 or decision is plus 300, and then TJ Brown a minus 180.
Yeah, another fight, Joe, where everyone's just jumping on Elkins because of his wrestling and his durability, like you mentioned. But he is getting up there in age. He's 39 right now. He's taking a lot of damage. No pun intended, because that is his nickname. But I like TJ Brown here. But that last fight he had with Bill Algeo, just talking about him, he was winning that fight. He looked pretty good. He got caught late in the fight, but I think we're getting a good number on here. He's my second leg of my 3-leg parlay. So right now I got TJ Brown on the money line and Terrence McKinney as 2 of my 3.
Love it. Love it. Let's continue right into the next fight, which is the featured prelim of the evening. We have Christian Rodriguez taking on Cameron Saaiman. And we talked about it before. Surprisingly enough, we're on different sides. I'm going to be taking Cameron Saaiman here. The dog, I have him around plus 135. Money's coming into Christian Rodriguez. He was like a minus 130. Now he's swelling to a minus 160, 165 I'm seeing. So you're not wrong with what you're taking here. Who you got?
Yeah, man. I've been on the fence about this fight and who I'm picking all week. We were talking independently before the show, and I just couldn't do it. I landed on Christian Rodriguez.
This was the only one we talked about.
I just think stylistically this fight is better for C-Rod. We saw him grapple against Rojas Jr. in his last fight. He has the cardio, good grappling, solid striking. Now, Cameron, he'll definitely be the better striker in this fight, no doubt about that. But when he gets taken down, he gets taken down way too easy for my liking. We saw it in his last fight. Granted, he did win, but spent most of the first round on his back. I don't think that can happen against a fighter like C-Rod. Give me Christian Rodriguez straight up on the money line, minus 148, and sprinkle a little on C-Rod to win via submission at plus 480. I think we see a scramble happening, and if C-Rod takes him down, gets his back, he's going to choke Saaiman out. So give me Chris Rodriguez on the money line, and also take him via submission.
I just worry about him getting knocked out before he gets there. I think you're right. It is a clash of styles. I think Christian Rodriguez has the advantage with the grappling. Saaiman does have the advantage on the feet. But, man, I got a question. Do you think that there was a little bit of Raul Rosas in his last fight, or do you think it was more of Christian Rodriguez?
I think it was more Christian Rodriguez. I think he showed out there, and he showed his grappling, he showed his cardio, and even when it got up to the feet, he showed his striking a little bit. He's in a good team over there in Milwaukee with Anthony Pettis and Sergio Pettis. So I like Christian Rodriguez.
Are they still with Duke Rufus? Is it Rufus Sport?
Rufus Sport, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Hell yeah, man. I love that. I love Duke Rufus. I'll be honest. He's fantastic striking coach. But hey, man, may the best man win again. Other opposite sides. We got one team right, I think, so far, and we got opposite sides. Am I correct? Am I wrong? I think we're opposite sides so far.
And McKinney, yeah.
Okay, let's go to the first fight of the main card. It is a run back from what happened the first instance. They missed weight. Then the second time they actually fought, and Edgar Chairez caught Daniel Lacerda in a standing guillotine, and arm went limp, and was it Tognoni or Herb Dean? Someone stopped it early, and Lacerda's like, I'm awake, I'm alert, this fight shouldn't have stopped, and they're running it back. So that fight was considered a no contest, and after 2 times, I gotta think 3 times is a charm. Give me the dog, Daniel Lacerda, to make up everything that happened in the past, plus 285. He knocks out Edgar Chairez. I'm thinking, I just do. I don't know why. Edgar Chairez, too heavy of a favorite for my liking. Maybe a sneaky pick to do the prop, but I like him just being a dog on the money line. It's swelling to plus 300. I don't know what people are thinking here.
Yeah, no play for me here, but that's very interesting to see what goes down here. At the dog, over $3 favorite. Got to throw a little something on that.
Yeah, try to stay timid from the big dogs, but we've been seeing a lot of dogs hit. not underdogs. They're probably the overdogs, basically. Let's go into the next fight. We have another replacement here because Michel Pereira was supposed to take on originally Marc-Andre Barrero, and Powerbar dropped out. I think he got scheduled another fight. If I'm correct, he's fighting Chris Curtis. But Andre Petroski, man, he's stepping in on short notice, and we like this dude. He's a dog. Right now I'm seeing the odds. Andre Petroski, dog, as well as stepping in on short notice. Got it as high as plus 187. Interesting line. Michel Pereira, $2 favorite. Man, you know how much I like those Philly boys. Andre Petroski, undefeated in the UFC, great grappling, strong dude. But his gas tank worried me in the last fight, and I don't think he was fighting someone who had that good of a gas tank. And yeah, Michel Pereira doesn't also have the best gas tank. I do think he has very explosive striking, very unorthodox variety of strikes. I get worried that Andre goes in for a takedown and gets hit with a flying knee. So my feeling is that it does get out of the first round, but Michel Pereira knocks him out in the second. So I got Michel Pereira, second round KO TKO at plus 650.
Yeah, I got a bad taste in my mouth back in this guy because of what happened recently in Salt Lake City. You know, missing weight, but I just can't bet with my heart. I got to take Michel Pereira on the money line, minus 190. I probably won't be betting this and officially getting to the window with this fight, but you know, the odds are just too juiced here for me. Maybe you could put him in one of your parlay piece, and that's what I'll do. He'll be my third parlay piece. I got Michel Pereira, Terrence McKinney, and TJ Brown all on the money line, plus 167. I think that's a good money line parlay.
I really do. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I think a lot of people here, like I mentioned it earlier, I think a lot of people here are just jumping on Andre Petroski because, you know, they think he's going to wrestle him. I just don't see it. Michel's a much better striker. And to be honest, I think Petroski, he's very sloppy. He almost got knocked out by GM3 in the round 3 last fight. He gets gassed way too easy. As long as Pereira can stuff those takedowns in round 1, I think Michel Pereira could get the finish later in the fight. If you want to get better odds, Michel Pereira to win inside the distance at plus 150, that's nice as well. I'll probably sprinkle on that, but he'll be my third official parlay. So Michel Pereira, Terrence McKinney, and TJ Brown on the money line plus 167.
Yeah, if I could just go back a little bit as the difference to that fight I have ending in the third round. My fear is if it does get to the third round in this fight, there will be no finish. It's going to the judges' scorecards because both will be too gassed. But Pereira has a lot of second round knockouts. So that's why I went with that. I went with, history. Precedent. Let's go into the next fight, and I think this is the closest fight on the card here. It is a pick'em that I see between the Dragon, Jonathan Martinez, and Adrian Yanez. Now, I know a lot of people, like you said before, have a bad taste in their mouth, a sour taste in their mouth from the last outing. Adrian Yanez, he got absolutely checked by our boy Rob Font, New England Cartel. I got to also run back real quick. New England Cartel, Brendan Moreau. That's kind of why I went with him in the beginning. But, man, this is a great fight. I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of people sleep on the Dragon. Jonathan Martinez is a stud. And Adrian Yanez, I think this is his kind of redemption fight. Not that he's fighting the same guy he, got finished by, but just to state his case that he's still, legit in that division because before him getting finished, he has aspirations of fighting Sean O'Malley. And now that's completely dissolved. And he's got to take on the Dragon, Jonathan Martinez. So my official play is I still have that bad taste in my mouth, and I did like what I've seen from Jonathan Martinez. So I'm going to go on a pick him and pick Jonathan Martinez. I think he can utilize some grappling here. I haven't seen Adrian Yanez's jiu-jitsu or wrestling all too much. He's really been on the feet, and he got exposed on the feet last time. So I got to think that Jonathan Martinez can utilize all 5 tools and finds a way to win this fight. I don't know which manner, but I'm going to take him on the money line as a pick him.
I can't believe I got plus 300 on the New England Cartel Rob Font against this kid.
Amazing pick. Amazing.
I feel like if these two fighters fought a year ago, Yanez would be the huge favorite. But, Martinez is the favorite for a reason. And I agree, Joe. I'm going to take him on the money line, minus 108. I think Martinez has shown tremendous evolution in his game. He's on a crazy win streak right now, winning his last 5 fights, 4 of the 5 being by decision. Now, he has good wrestling, but I've actually seen him use more of his striking in his recent fights, which I love to see. You said it, Adrian Yanez got checked on the feet. I don't know why he likes to stand and bang. It's not working for him. Jonathan Martinez, he's durable. He's got good head movement, and I just have a hard time backing Yanez. He gets hit a lot. The volume isn't there for me, and I think the fight will go all 3 rounds, but I just think Jonathan Martinez is the better fighter right now. So give me Jonathan Martinez on the money line -108.
Yeah, Adrian Yanez, I actually think he is a very crisp boxer. He might have some of the best boxing in the weight class. I know that sounds crazy because where he is right now, but it's the other parts of his game where he needs to improve. Like you were saying, I don't think it's like he didn't like what you were saying with the stand-up. It's just that he couldn't get out of Rob Font's jab. He couldn't find a way out of that.
No head movement.
He got hit by every single jab, and then when he threw the combos together, he landed them. So I think Adrian Yanez has good offense. Let's see if he improved his defense. Now, in the co-main event here, I got Jennifer Maia, surprisingly in a co-main event slot, and a favorite at -150, taking on Viviane Araújo. And she's a dog, +120, +130 around. But I don't have a play in this, man, and it's simply because Viviane Araújo has blown me and blown my spot. I haven't hit on her in the past year. I'm staying away from this fight entirely.
Yeah, give me Jennifer Maia here on the money line -150. I don't know why, but it always seems like people are sleeping on Jennifer Maia for whatever reason. I think what separates her in watching her fight, her IQ stands out. Like, she knows how to win fights. I know that's very cliche, but like the way she fights, she's consistent, always keeps the pressure. She never stops. She just doesn't let her opponent find a groove. And we saw that in her last fight when she beat Casey O'Neill. Very good win. On the other side, if Araújo doesn't land that hard shot early, I feel like she has a hard time keeping up and figuring out her opponent. I don't think her IQ is as good as Maia. So I also think Maia has the advantage on the ground as well. So if she does wind up taking this fight to the ground, I think it's another advantage to Jennifer Maia. Maia coming off that impressive win, like I said, of Casey O'Neill. Araújo, she's lost 2 in a row. I feel like we're getting tremendous value on odds for a girl that's winning, that's on a win streak compared to a girl that's on a losing streak. I think the line should be 2-1, to be honest. So Jennifer Maia on the money line -150. I think we're getting really good odds here.
Yeah, she has about double the amount of fights as Viviane Araújo, Jennifer Maia. So you're right about the intelligence standpoint of it. She's fighting out of shoot the box. She's only been finished twice. The one time she got finished was back in 2012 when she got knocked out in 10 seconds. So other than that, here are the fights. She beat Jessica Andrade back in the day. She has gone to decision against the likes of Liz Carmouche, Caitlin Kuchagian, Valentina Shevchenko when she fought for the title went to decision. She went to decision again with Kuchagian, went to decision against Manon Fiorot. This chick is tough as nails. I don't see Maia ever getting finished in a fight based off her resume, based off her intelligence, ability to grapple. She is a very balanced fighter. I would honestly go and tail you on this, to be completely honest, just because I like everything I'm seeing out of Maia, and I have no luck with Viviane Araújo, but that's why I don't have anything official, because once I do decide to go for Viviane or against her, I lose. So I'm going to stay out of it. But good. I had to go in detail with what you were making your points, because it's a fantastic take there. But as we go from the co-main event to the main event, I think it has also another shot of being fight of the night, in my opinion. A lot of people are expecting this fight to finish. And I think these two dudes are so tough, man. I don't see it. I got Super Sodiq Yusuff taking on Edson Jr. Barboza. Odds right now, they got a little separated. I think before they were a little closer, but now you're seeing Sodiq pull away. He's more of a favorite, -160 to -180. And Barboza, he's around +150. And, a lot of people want to take their props and go ahead and say that this fight's going to end, with Edson knocking him out or Sodiq knocking him out. But I had to play it safe. I took Sodiq Yusuff just based off the 5-tool player that he is. He can utilize grappling. I don't think you can. I mean, there's always a chance of getting submitted, but I just feel like he's educated enough that he won't have to worry about triangles or arm bars getting thrown at, where Edson's slick at. I think he can dominate if it gets into wrestling positions, to be completely honest. And on the feet, I think he holds his own. I don't think he's going to be too out of position where he gets caught by a flying knee. So that's my official play, is Sodiq Yusuff on the money line at -160. but I will be taking him via decision as well on a prop at plus 285. I like the odds. And like I said, with him being able to take Edson down and Edson being tough and maybe the worry of the submission game, it just tells me that it's going to go to the judges' scorecard. I say Sodiq Yusuff split decision.
Yeah, this line surprises me a little. I'm not going to lie. Just look at Sodiq Yusuff's last 3 opponents, Don Chinaris, Alex Kurteris, and Arnold Allen, compared to Edson Barboza, where he just knocked out Billy Q in the first round. I think Barboza, he has the experience and the level of competition he's gone against is just way better compared to Sodiq Yusuff. I feel like Barboza is so dangerous. Basically, anywhere the fight goes, those leg kicks are insane. Stylistically, I just don't see much of an advantage for Yusuff. I think this is a prove it kind of fight for me for Yusuff. He hasn't fought anyone where he should be this big of a favorite. He's talented, yes, no doubt. But Barboza is legit. He's only been knocked out 1 time in his last 7 fights. He's fought the best of the best. And even in this fight, and if this fight turns into a straight kickboxing fight, I got to take Edson Barboza and those insane leg kicks. Yusuff starts to slow down. And if you start to slow down against a guy who's basically going to kick the shit out of you for all 25 minutes, it's not going to end well for you. Give me the dog, Edson Barboza on the money line plus 140.
I love it, man. 2 different sides. I think you and I, we're on the different ends of a lot of fights today, and that's good. You know, someone's got to come out on top. I think we agreed with Pereira, not on the ending, Jonathan Martinez, and we did agree on Jennifer Maya, to be honest. It's just that I'm not putting anything official for it.
Yeah, 100%. But, Joe, let's get back on the winning streak. UFC Vegas 81, like I said, 4 p.m. starts the prelim, 7 p.m. here on the East Coast starts the main event. Misfits Boxing, big double main event. Dylan Danis taking on Logan Paul and Tommy Fury taking on KSI. It's been back and forth all week, all banter. We're not going to get into the index. One, because I think it's stupid, to be honest. I mean, first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. You know what I mean? So, like, with that being said, I mean, you saw what's Tommy Fury's dad's name? John
Fury, legend.
He's a legend. They need to protect this man at all costs.
All costs, absolutely, dude. He's self-aware that he's a walking meme, to be honest, because you can make content off him anywhere.
I thought the stare down in the cage was pretty epic.
Punching the plexiglass.
Oh my God.
I'll be honest. If it wasn't for John Fury, that main event wouldn't be as hype because that co-main event is stealing all the shine.
100%. And I just don't think any of them, Tom Fury and KSI for that matter, are just doing a good job promoting the fight. Let's be honest. Love him or hate him, Dylan Danis is promoting the best out of anyone. He's carrying the load. And he knows it. And there's a reason he's not getting pay-per-view points. I mean, he hasn't fought in 3 years. He's basically, to Mams Taylor, he's basically quit on the KSI fight. So he's unreliable. He knows he's not getting pay-per-view points here. But should be very interesting. Even I'm looking at the card right now. Even my boy, Salt Poppy, taking on Slim, the rematch, Dean the Great. Or is that fight off now? I think he got arrested, right?
I'm not sure about that. I'll be honest. The only fights I've been following were the co-main or the double main event, however you would prefer. But I'll be honest. I am a fan of Salt Poppy, and if to be honest, the way that I've seen him improve his body and train, it got me feeling that Slim had done nothing to do anything of the sort. He's gonna get knocked out. I think Salt Poppy's gonna put it on Slim. Salt
Poppy minus 330. I love it right there. I'm gonna take Salt Poppy.
I would take him KO TKO for sure.
There's no odds. It's weird. Like these
very interesting with this influencer. Yeah.
And also certain books have lines, certain books have props, round props as well. So you really got to do your research on how you're doing this. But Joe, I'll start it off. I only have 2 plays. We'll start it's a double main event, but we'll start with the co-main event, which is Dylan Danis taking on Logan Paul, which we all agree should be the main event. Yes. I'm gonna take Dylan Danis plus 410. Love him or hate him.
Wow.
I just think he's one of us, Joe. He's a part of the mixed martial arts community.
I made a post about it. Just did.
Oh, holy shit. That's amazing. So yeah, go check that out on Joe's Twitter. But I just think he's one of us, and love him or hate him, you know, he's an actual fighter. Whether it's boxing or mixed martial arts, he's an actual fighter. And take nothing away from Logan Paul. Amazing what he's doing in the WWE. I think he does that extraordinary, to be honest. If I'm being frank, I think he does that amazing. But we've seen him. I know it's against Floyd Mayweather, but he wasn't taking that serious. These are all exhibition fights just to get paid, and he's 0-2. Well, let's be honest. This guy's actually taking a punch. He trains with Notorious. He was training with Alex Pereira. Like, I just think he's going to be able to take a punch. He already bruised him up during the press conference with the fucking microphone. He's busted up on the side. So he just needs to go for that left side. I got to take Dylan Danis here. Yeah, on the money line.
I love it. I love it. Like you're saying, he's representing all of the mixed martial arts community here. And you got to be pulling for him. But, man, I really think the odds are stacked against him, to be honest with you. And he's won this fight already, if you want to think about it that way, in terms of the promotion, in terms of getting inside Logan's head.
Did he, though?
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly,
lawsuit. He's gonna.
It doesn't matter. That proved it even more. To be honest with you, that proved that he is winning this battle even more so. The fact that it went to the courts. So that's what I say about Dylan Danis. I want him to win, but if I'm going to bet with my mind here, the fact is Mike Perry could step in at any time, and Jake Paul. That's something that could happen just because there is no real regulation. This is a commission that's paid by KSI. So I got to go with the minus 450 favorites, which is coming between Logan Paul, Mike Perry, or Jake Paul. It's got to be one of those three to fight Dylan Danis. You know, I know Dylan Danis, and it's not a jiu-jitsu match, you know, unfortunately. The dude can fight, but that's not his game to stay standing, just worry about cutting angles and staying the sweet science of boxing, man. If it was a jiu-jitsu match, he'd tap Logan in a heartbeat, even though Logan likes rolling around and wrestling, show that he can do that. Is totally different level. Dylan Danis would choke him unconscious. Only thing that I could hope for this is that we get what Nate Diaz did to Jake Paul, is that Dylan Danis puts a little chokehold on Logan Paul. That's what we can all hope for. Give me the odds on that because I'm taking it.
Yeah, so Dylan Danis, he did make a post about 4 or 5 hours ago talking about missing weight, whatever. He wanted up, Logan put a video up, he made weight, and Logan Paul said, "You wish, see you tomorrow." So I think 90% sure it's either going to be Logan Paul. If Logan Paul's not in, or if Dylan's not in, I think Mike Perry. And if Mike Perry's in, I have the option. I'm going to change my pick. Mike Perry's going to knock them both out. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
So yeah, I got that. I just think on the financial side, real quick. Yes, I think it's really bad for Dylan Danis because I don't think he has a lot of money. He says he does, but
this will be his biggest payday. But I mean, if everything goes through, he might lose.
If he fights, and even then, you got to pay all. This is like a federal crime. Like you have to pay these lawyers a lot. And my thing is, lawyers are on the hour. They're a lot.
Just serve time, bro. You could choke anyone out in fucking jail unless they try to stab you.
So it's insane. I think that's a kind of I don't want to say a weasel way to go about it, but I do think they hurt him where it hurts, which is the pockets. But going to the main event, KSI taking on Tommy Fury, excuse me. Right now, Tommy Fury is a minus 400 favorite, KSI plus 280. How do you think this main event is going?
Man, I'm glad he went to me first because I think I'm going to take you back on this one. You know, Tommy Fury is the better boxer here. Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul. And, you know, KSI didn't get to fight Jake Paul, but if I think they were to, I think Jake Paul would beat KSI. So you would think that Tommy Fury has a granted win here, man. And he's a big favorite, is he not? Is the KSI the dog you said?
Yeah, it's plus 280.
Yeah, I think that would be correct if you're looking straight up as analytical perspective and seeing that, you know, Tommy Fury is a legitimate boxer and KSI just, you know, influencer. What did I say before? I said that this is a commission that is paid off by KSI. Do you not think that these judges are paid off as well? No matter how dominant Tommy Fury is going to look in this, if he doesn't get the finish, this fight will end in a draw. Plus 1,100 is my official play.
Wow. That was a curveball. Give me Tommy Fury via KO TKO at plus 140. I do think he's going to get the stoppage. The way he's been talking all week, I think he had a really good training camp, it looks like. And he's just not training with just anybody in the gym. He's training with fucking world champions. Like, let's be honest, his family are a bunch of studs. And Tommy Fury is an actual boxer in Manchester, in his hometown. He's not going to allow it to get to the judges.
So, hey, KSI's from England too.
Yeah, but this is his backyard. These are Tommy Fury's people. So he's going to have his big bro. He's going to have his father in the corner. He's getting ready for his fight. I think he knocks out KSI. And if he knocks out KSI, say goodbye to the Jake Paul rematch. Jake Paul will never get to rematch Tommy Fury if he knocks out
he would
KSI.
have to fight KSI.
And I honestly, I actually disagree. I'll push back on what you said. I think KSI would be win. Jake Paul.
I like that.
I still think Pauls are good.
Good
I'll give him my credit. They're okay.
They need a script. That's
but I will say this. I'll give credit to Jake. He's actually going full force and actually becoming a full thing. Yeah. Logan is just doing it on the side to make money. He's doing it because it's the prime card. He's a WWE guy. Let's be honest.
And he's doing fantastic at it. I think he's doing a great job.
That's what I'm saying. Stay in your lane. Jake Paul is actually a boxer. Whether he's handpicking his fighters, that's another story, but he's an actual boxer. So I agree. I think it'd be very interesting who wins this fight, because if KSI wins, it's good. KSI Jake Paul would be massive. I think this pay-per-view could probably do 1 million buys.
I wouldn't put it past it. I'll be honest with you. Look at the followers on all social medias for these guys. The hype that's going with the other main event, which should be the main event, I think is carrying it too. And it's a shame that Dylan won't get pay-per-view points, but I think it's right. And I think he understands. Yeah, I think it's correct. I think he has to kind of prove himself here. If he comes to show and he comes to fight as well, I think that will put him in favor in a lot of people's minds, and they would gladly have him back for any type of influencer boxing, or maybe he should start trying to do some like influencer jiu-jitsu, because he would, granted, people argue that his record isn't the best in the professional grappling, IBJJF or, whatever invitational he goes to, 18-16. The fact is he's accomplished a lot, and he would be king of the hill in any influencer grappling tournament.
Oh, 100%. And we'll go right into the MMA news, because we'll see if his boy, one of his best friends, Conor McGregor, is there. He said he will be ringside. So remember a few months ago in a boxing event, Conor McGregor called out KSI. What world are we living in? So it will be very funny.
Clown White show. No.
Yeah, it is. It is a very clown show. Dana White did confirm that Conor McGregor has submitted his paperwork to re-enter USADA testing pool, and says he is enrolled as of Monday. So thoughts on it, when you maybe see him fight, and do you still think Michael Chandler is the fight?
Yeah, absolutely. As we know, USADA is no longer a part of the UFC. They lost their cash cow, and they will be folding. I'm telling you, USADA will fold. So DFIS is the new, drug testing system that the UFC has introduced. And did you see who the president was? We got president and CEO Alistair Overeem, the managing director TJ Dillashaw, and the chief financial officer is Brock Lesnar. So such a fantastic organization, Drug Free Sport International.
What would you think?
Dude, did you catch that? You didn't catch that joke?
Yeah, I did. It's all the guys that got suspended. But what would you think of him entering? Who do you see him moving forward? Where do you see him fighting?
Michael Chandler next year. Unfortunately, I know he'll have to. I think if they're doing this DFI stuff, he'll have to get in their pool. So I think there's going to have to be some legitimacy. I know they're going to have a lawsuit against USADA because of the treatment and quote unquote of Conor McGregor, but that's hearsay. I mean, they're going to have to do something for the new organization that's stepping in. So interesting stuff. It really did. This week has been crazy.
Yeah, like Joe said, the USADA has announced that as January 1st, 2024, there will no longer be overseeing the UFC's anti-doping program. Now the UFC will be partnering with Drug Free Sport International in the future following the departure. Apparently it had to do with Conor McGregor and just a headache that it was, but I thought it was kind of a bullshit, and I agree with your point. I think they're going to go under now with that.
Hey, what is your opinions on Johnny Bones though?
Yeah, they should fucking picogram. They should give him his win because he did beat DC.
Oh, okay. So you were on the side of Conor McGregor then. I heard you say that you were kind of, not on the side of Conor. That's why I hit you with the John Jones. I'm like, are you gonna be
No. I'm on the fighter side.
You're on the fighter side, absolutely.
Always. Yeah, real quick, you did also real quick, you did mention Chris Curtis will take on Marc-Andre Burnett, UFC 297 on January 20th, which everyone's speculating it will be in Toronto. You like that matchup for Chris Curtis?
Yeah. Another surprise. I think I took some like plays already on it, seeing how it's nothing official. I don't think any odds are dropped, but it was another kind of hedge. I got to kind of come to a decision with it. But just as a heads up for you guys, I like Chris Curtis with a late finish. Maybe inside the distance would be safe. I don't see a lot of submissions from him, so you might want to take VO, KO, TKO, so you don't have to worry about the round. But Barol does take a lot of fights late and wind up winning decisions or finishing them late. So I was looking at that as well. I just have to come to a decision with what I like the most.
Your boy, January 13th, Ricky Simone will take on Mario Batista, UFC Vegas 83. That's about 2 apexes away, January 13th. But you like that fight for Ricky Simone?
Ricky Simon, where are you? I remember Sean O'Malley calling him out. Man, I like Ricky Simone in that. But Mario Batista, he's a dog. He trains with Sean O'Malley. Yeah. So that's another one that I'll have to do a little research on and then come up with a decision for you. I think that's a good fight. That is a really close competitive fight.
It also was announced this week. New main event in Brazil, UFC São Paulo. Curtis Blades out. Jalton Almeida, our boy, will now take on Derek Lewis, baby. November 4th. Curtis Blades suffered an ankle injury. He then re-injured his other ankle when he was trying to push through it during camp. Apparently, he said he'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. So he's out. Derek Lewis in. What do you make of this new main event?
So we saw our boy Jalton Almeida live in Charlotte, and we said it. Rosenstrike's great striker. Everyone around us was saying Rosenstrike's going to win. We were like, guys, come on now. As soon as this fight goes to the ground, Jalton Almeida is winning in like 10 seconds, and that's exactly what happened. We knew it right in front. We started walking out. We
walked out as soon as he got him to the ground.
As soon as he took him to the ground, we were like, it's over, guys. And we left, and he submitted in 10 seconds later. Crowd's like, oh my God. He's like, we knew this, but here's my take early enough. First punch he gets hit by Derek Lewis. He's out, bro. Derek Lewis. If he does get taken to the ground, all he has to do is get up. Black Beast, baby. Take my money.
Wow. Randy Brown will also take on Muslim Asayakov, UFC 296 in December 16th card in Vegas. You like that for Rude Boy? I
mean, the Kung Fu King, you can't deny him, though. You know what I'm saying? He always comes to fight. You said Muslim Salikov, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a tough fight for him. It is a tough one. But I like Rude Boy. I like him 100%. A lot, man.
And then I guess I'm burying the lead here. UFC 294. We'll start with Charlie Olives. He is out of his rematch against Islam Makhachev. He withdrew 10 days of the fight. He split his eyebrow in the 5th round of sparring last week. He had to get it stitched up. So Charlie Olives is out. Islam Makhachev will rematch Alexander Volkanovski for the undisputed lightweight title. UFC 294 next Saturday, October 21st in Abu Dhabi. But not just that, Paulo Costa has also been pulled out from the people's main event with Khamzat Chimaev. Costa, said that the doctors aren't allowing him to fight. He's ready to fight. Their doctor said he can't fight. So Paulo Costa out. Here comes the Nigerian kid, Kamaru Usman. He will step up to take on Khamzat Chimaev, UFC 294. 3 rounds at 185. He's moving up. The winner will take on Sean Strickland.
Oh my God.
At the middleweight. Bearing injury. Joe, thoughts on both of these?
What the hell, man? That's crazy. Man, I respect to Kamaru Usman, Nigerian nightmare. Dude's a Hall of Famer, bro. Let's not deny this man's greatness. And for him to step up against a lot of people think is the boogeyman. A lot of people don't want to fight Khamzat. We're gonna have our plays next episode for you. But man, I'm excited for that one. It's interesting to say the least. And then the main event, a lot of people were mad at Charles Oliveira, but the dude's so passionate. He wanted to get this fight back. He can argue whether or not he folded or gave up with him getting caught in a submission the first time around, the arm triangle with Islam. But, I think he really went balls to the wall for this camp. And low key, like you said, Alex stepped in. I think he is too, preparing for Islam. You got 2 guys preparing for one dude. Islam's preparing for Charles, and now Alex steps up. The only opinion I think people are saying, why don't you put headgear on? Why don't you do this? Protect. I think there's freak incidents that occur in training. I don't like the headgear, to be honest, with heavier gloves, because there's actually more of a turn with your head and you're more susceptible to actually getting hurt, like getting knocked out and concussed. So with my opinion, if he were to just lather a lot of Vaseline on him, he would have probably avoided this. He wouldn't have to worry about, the heavy headgear, the punches coming in and him getting over, stretched one way or anything like that. But man, I just don't. I think he kind of went in there raw, Doug. I think those shoot the box guys, they're savages. They kind of go in there just raw, and they did balls to the wall, and he got caught, dude. You can't blame his training partner, because that's their job, is to get him ready, and that's what they were doing. They were just getting ready for this fight, and it's a shame because we all respect Charles Oliveira. We were a big fan of him, and this fight was highly anticipated. But credit to Alex Volkanovski stepping up, and credit to Kamaru Usman for stepping up.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Dana White saying, as a promoter, and I guess on that side of the fence, he wish he would have came to him, because, you are in business with the promotion as well. He went on his own. He got it stitched up. He said, hey, you should have came to us. Maybe we would have done something else to try to keep you on the card, but you kind of just did your own thing. And to be honest, I kind of agree with Dana White. I know I always don't, but as a promotion standpoint, we're going to try to keep this fight on. We really didn't want to move in the direction, because they were trying to put Ilia Topuria and Volkanovski for the January card in Toronto.
Yeah, but if you missed that announcement, that actually was announced. Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria for the interim featherweight title.
Nothing is confirmed. From what I saw, the way Alexander Volkanovski came out and said is, if everything goes right and he's not really injured, he'll turn it around and face him in January. But if he does get hurt and he's go through a 5-round fight, then they're going to put an interim belt between Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria.
The camp is trying to protect it. That fight's going to happen.
Well, we've seen it. Yeah. We've seen them turn it around, and it's not good.
Exactly. And I think that even if he might not want to after seeing his teammate. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's both things working against it. And I think it's a guarantee that we're going to get Max Holloway against Ilia Topuria. And it legitimizes Ilia Topuria with a belt if he wins. And Max Holloway has been that guy. If it wasn't for Volkanovski, he's the champ. So he deserves it either way. Either guy deserves that, whoever wins that fight. So I'm hyped for next week's episode. As I'll be live and in person for BKFC. But, man, UFC 294 is highly anticipated.
It's also, I want to make the note, a lot of people are saying that, why didn't Martus Gamrot? He's going to be the backup fighter. But
he needs a fight where there's no controversy.
His fight came out and already said, hey, we understand the Islam rematch with Alexander is the bigger fight. They have a score to settle. They understand Martus Gamrot will get his chance. So he's still going to weigh in as the backup fighter.
Is he still going to be the backup? I'm glad to hear that, because I think we still need a backup. Goodness, God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid. So very crazy turn of events this last week, just 10 days out of UFC 294. And then lastly, it was announced today, Dustin Jacoby will take on Alonzo Menfield at UFC 296 in December. You like that fight?
Yeah, Alonzo Menfield showed a new aspect of his game with the grappling last time he was out. And we all know Dustin Jacoby, he could put the volume on you. So that makes for an interesting matchup. I want to see how that one plays out.
But yes, Joe, that is it for some MMA news. It was a loaded week. Hopefully we don't get any more call-outs fight week. Right. But 10 seconds left. BKFC plays. What do you got, kid?
Prospect Series 2, co-main event, Morgan Starkey versus Terry Needham. Morgan Starkey lost to a 2-46 guy, John Spencer, back in the day. Give me the dog, Terry Needham, plus 155. And in the main event, Jono Chip Chase takes on Anton Larson. Anton Larson's 3-10 in mixed martial arts. I don't think that translates well to bare knuckle. Give me Chip Chase, minus 425, huge favorite. But maybe parlay it. I didn't, but getting us anticipated and ready for next week, where like I said, I'll be live and in person for BKFC 52 in Columbia, South Carolina.
Joe, good luck this weekend. Good luck over there. Should be fun at the BKFC. And yeah, remember, like Joe said, another special start time next week, 1 p.m., 105, 110, around that time. But yeah, that's going to do it for this Friday edition of Axe Kick Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joe, everyone, I am D-Rock. We'll see you guys next week. Plenty of picks, plenty of hot takes. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. If you haven't already, we go live every Friday afternoon on YouTube, youtube.com/Axe Kick Picks Live. Subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone, good luck on your wagers this weekend. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.